Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel here. I just want to give you a quick review here, or update of an install I just did with my F150 here. It's a 2016 F150 model. And I'm installing these rough country airlift kit, I believe it's called. So it's an airbag system. And you can see it's just completed or finished it up here. And now additionally to the kit that you get online from Rough Country, I added this Cradle kit here in the middle. And that's designed to be a free-floating kit, so that's a little different than what the traditional kit comes with. So that's an additional accessory, I should say. And that'll benefit or help when your car or truck is up on a lift or a hoist or whatever, say like at a tire shop or whatever. So it's not, the airbag isn't fastened on the bottom. So if you have full suspension articulation, I guess if you're off-roading as well, it allows your suspension, your shocks, and your full axle system to articulate or travel to its full length vertically. So that's just an add-on piece I did. I was reading some reviews, and that was kind of a good suggestion or a good review from people to consider getting that when you do an airbag system. Otherwise, I've heard some horror stories of when the bag on the bottom is fastened to the plate down here, which is what you normally do, and you have full suspension travel, whether it's up on a lift or or if it's off-roading or whatever. Sometimes the bags will tear, and then there's your failure mode there, so it's no longer functional. So that's why I chose to do those, but I wanted to give you a quick install summary and how it went. It took me a little over 2 hours, I would say, and the instructions say 1 to 2 hours. I feel like if you take your time, try not to rush it so you don't forget anything. It's pretty important. But yeah, they say 1 to 2 hours. Once you get one side done, the second side goes much quicker. So I'd say it's about an hour, hour and a half for one side just to figure it out. And then the next side is a breeze, about a half hour, I'd say. It goes a lot quicker. So Rough Country gives you these instructions. However, they're really vague. Pictures are very, I say they're clear, they're good, but not super descriptive. So that's kind of why I just wanted to walk you through a very high level of the install. So I guess like step one, you can see I already have it done here, but step one is to take your bump stops off what would be on your frame here, which is now where the bag is here. So just a 13mm bolt. It's pretty straightforward. That's in the instructions, so that's pretty clear. And then you just do your top plate here. This is the top plate of the bag system. This is your airbag. It's for the suspension bag itself, and then the bottom plate here. Like I said, this donut or coupler is additional to the kit. It's for me. So, but yeah, you take the bump stop off. It tells you to fasten the bag here to the top plate with these screws as step one. One thing I'd recommend doing in conjunction or at that same time that the instructions don't tell you to do, just because you have it out of the actual frame here or under the truck, is to put the air fitting on at the same time as well. It can be a little tough once you get it mounted up. So that's one tip I would say. But yeah, so you fasten, once you get this top plate on, it instructs you to put this whole top plate assembly on with these, I think they're 3/8 bolts, one on each side here, along with that factory 13mm bolt that the bump stop came with. So you put that back in. And these are held on by little flanges that they call them. So on the back side of your frame, they're self-threaded flanges, I think they call them, and then that's how those bolt up. So that's kind of the first part to the top half, and then you do the bottom plate, which you see right here. And then it just comes with the normal, I think they're channel bolts here or whatever, with the plates, and then your washers and nuts and so on. So yeah, one in the front here, one in the back, and that's your bottom plate there. So that's pretty straightforward. So if you didn't have this coupler is held on just by one screw, if you can see there. But if you didn't have this, the bottom of the bag has two screw systems like this that go on the bottom. So same mechanism, same application or style there. If you did not have this, that's the only difference there. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. The other side's the exact same, so I'll walk you through that. You can see it's exactly the same, obviously. So one thing you might note here is, so I've ran the tubing towards the back, which is what most people do. You can put them wherever you want, but back by the license plate or your receiver hitch is probably the most common. You can see I left my zip ties and all my fasteners loose just for the time being. So the kit comes with 2 Schrader valves, so you can air them up one at a time if you want. I'm waiting on a part from Amazon right now, which is just a Union T fitting. So my plan, instead of running them separate, will be to run them to the back and just run them on 1 Schrader valve. So when I air them up, it's going to air both of them up at the same time versus one at a time. So just a preference thing. That's up to you how you want to do that. So like I said, I left this all loose for now. I'll tighten up zip ties once I get that part, hopefully tomorrow, to finish it up. So everything's just hanging for now, but I did get the Schrader valve in here, so that's what it is right here. So you just drill a little, I think that's a 3/8 inch hole or whatever. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. This is where you'll air it up. So like I said, the kit comes with 2 of these, so you could run each bag one at a time for airing them up or deflating them. I chose to just do 1, so I kind of like the symmetry, or the ensuring that there's an exact pressure on both sides. So that's why I did 1 here. And like I said, I'm just waiting on the T valve, or the Union T fitting from Amazon to arrive hopefully tomorrow, so I can finish up the install here. But yeah, quality looks good. The install is very, very smooth, very simple, straightforward. Like I said, probably a little over 2 hours if you take your time doing it in your garage. If you had a lift, it'd probably go even quicker, but not too bad. Pretty straightforward, so it's something you can definitely tackle in your garage. Yeah, so the reason for me getting these is just to, as you can see, I got leveling kit in the front and then some aftermarket blocks in the back. So when I'm towing, I have about a 5,000 pound trailer, or camper trailer, that I use. So I get quite a bit of squat, or just some squat, I should say, when I'm pulling that, just for the tongue weight. So that's the reason why I got these, to air them up, as well as a fishing boat in the summer too. So I think it'll be beneficial to have these. I think I've heard some good reviews on handling characteristics when you do have these. So if you're squatting when you're towing, your front end feels kind of light, and I definitely noticed that. So the steering's not as planted as it should be. And then I think just the back end stability will be significantly better. So I think for a 1/2 ton truck, it's a very beneficial upgrade to have if you're towing anything of significant weight. So, but yeah, it does not increase your load capacity, your load rating for your actual towing capacity. But like I said, it just gives you a more planted ride. So untowing when you're not towing, I think it recommends the range of 5 psi to 100 psi for these, is what the instructions say. So when I'm not towing, I'll just put these at about 5 psi. You gotta have some air in them. So, and then I'll play around with pressures from there to get the ride height that I want and the stability I want when towing. So trying to increase the handling, get that level look back when towing, so it's not squatting, which has multiple benefits, like I said. So, but yeah, anyways, guys, if you're in the market for an airbag system for your 1/2 ton or F150, I highly recommend you look at the Rough Country kit here. It seems to be very at a good price point where it's affordable, not too expensive, not going to break the bank compared to some of the other ones. So this one does have a 5,000 pound capacity, so it's kind of like the Airlift 5000s or the Firestone kits. So, but yeah, highly recommend you check out the Rough Country kit here. So I'll put some pictures of kind of before and after when I actually load up the trailer, just the difference with squat versus what PSI I decide to settle on to get a nice level look. So I'll put some pictures on that just to give you guys an idea of how effective it is. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. All right, everybody, I was gonna do a few photos here with the trailer on here, but I haven't had to tow the last few days here. So I figured I'd just do a video here to show you kind of the clearance. So I got everything installed. I've had it on for, the airbag's on for a couple days now. And I'm running right at like 5 psi, which is the bare minimum, I believe. you know, Rough Country recommends for 5 to 100 PSI is the range for these airbags. So everything's holding up great. Checked all my lines, no leaks or anything. So install was a breeze. It was nice and smooth. Everything's working good. So I was going to just show you a quick baseline here with the 5 PSI for height. So sorry I didn't do pictures or whatever to show you towing, but I figure this is good to show you the height. So so you can see I'm like just over 42 inches from the ground up to the top fender wall here. So, and that's about the same as it was without any PSI in there or any air in the actual bags themselves. So I had 0 before, I dropped it off the jack stand, and it's now having a couple days. The suspension settled a little bit, I guess. So yeah, it's been the same, about a little over 42, as you can see there. So, but yeah, with 5 PSI, you can't tell a difference in ride quality as if you had when I didn't have them on before. So you can see I got them coupled with the Bilstein 5100s all around, front and rear on this truck, so it rides real nice. But yeah, with 5 PSI, I can't tell a difference in the ride. So really no impact there at all. So we'll air it up here. I'll show you just how simple this is. Just simple pancake compressor. You could use the gas station one or even like a little portable onboard one. But as I mentioned, I only did one fitting here, a Schrader valve for filling. So I wanted them both to be synced up so I could air them up at the same time with just one valve to try and keep it symmetrical for pressure. So the kit does come with a second one, so you can run them individually if you want and air them up individually. However, I think this is faster, it's more efficient. And like I said, you know that you're gonna have the right pressure in there on both sides, left and right. So takes the guesswork out. But yeah, I know if I go up to, so I do have a tire gauge here, to bear with me here for a second. This here. Sorry, it's leaking there for a second, but I'll pump this up here quick. And so I got an onboard gauge here. Whoops, sorry, but it's pretty much right at, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's 10, the next notch is 20. So yeah, so we're right at 20 now. You can see that or not? It's focus in, but so yeah, we're right at 20 PSI now. So if I come back over here, I noticed right when I aired it up, it doesn't take much to air these up. So 20 PSI. See the bottom of the fender there? Right at 43. So it raised it up about an inch just with the 20 PSI. And so I know with the 20-foot trailer I have, it's probably about 5,000 pounds gross weight, maybe a little bit more, depending on if it's loaded down or not. And that squats about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches tops with that loaded down with the tongue weight. So I imagine I'll need about between 25 and 30 PSI to get it leveled back out. So you can see it's a little over, just about 1 inch or a little more with only 20 PSI. So does not take much to correct that. So obviously if I'm under load with the trailer tongue weight on here, it might take a little bit more. But most forums I've been reading up online, they don't need a whole lot. So definitely don't need to surpass or get up to that 100 PSI or even 80 PSI or 100 PSI. You probably don't need that, but I guess it's capable of that, is what Rough Country states. So between 5 and 100 PSI. So anyways, guys, there they are. Everything's working great. No leaks in the system. And like I said, with 5 PSI, just cruising around town, it works great unloaded. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, guys.